Don't Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders get free housing and heaps of money from the government? Where?
Where's my house?
Where's my house then?
What does an Aboriginal person look like? My answer to this is you can't define an Aboriginal person. We come in all shapes and sizes, our skin colour is different to one another, our eye colour, and so you just can't define one.
An Aboriginal person looks like me. Can look like CJ, we can look like absolutely anything. We come in all different shapes and sizes and colours. We are very diverse people.
I've got cousins that are light skinned. They do have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah, me too.
And then I've got cousins that are really dark skinned as well.
There is no typical Aboriginal person, from the blackest black person, skinned person, to the fairest. The range is enormous.
It's not necessarily about skin colour. That's probably the general perception that is something we have to work towards demystifying. You know, we've been colonised, but we still have connection to our country, to our lands. So, you know, there's obviously been interrelations from first contact. That changes, but we're still connected, we're still here.
What was that analogy? I think it was like you can still add milk to the tea and it will still be tea. Yeah.
You speak well for an Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander.
Oh, that's gammon.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate when I get told this sometimes.
Absolutely, I think it's something, especially a lot of us who are in tertiary institutions, we definitely get told that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever your experience is with Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people and how they talk to you in the past, that's a completely different person, so of course they're going to talk to you differently.
Absolutely.
We don't all sound the same.
Yeah.
I think that's very racist. I think it's stereotyping, and it's offensive. It's a backhanded compliment. Yeah, well, they're insinuating that our people don't usually speak well.
Many of my brothers and sisters across this nation, English is a second or third language. So yes, some of us have learned to speak well and write well, and that all comes from opportunities of education, but equally the connection to our languages is really important, cultural connection for us as well.
My mother tongue has basically been eradicated. I never learnt it as a child or even growing up as an adult. I understand it. So when people speak it or when we sing songs in it, I know exactly what they're singing and I can interpret. And then we have a Creole that when I speak, I'll speak to somebody from the islands in this Creole, not in my mother tongue. So those are the sort of things that we're affected by coming off the island and by government policies at the time to stop us from speaking our languages.
Don't Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders get free housing and heaps of money from the government? Where?
Where's my house?
Where's my house then?
I'm still waiting for my free house.
Me too. I want one. Can I have a free car as well?
I've worked since I was 18, basically looked after myself from like in my early 20s when I've lost both my parents, and worked full-time jobs.
What they're thinking of is how some of Australia's, well, our government's resources, there is a chunk of it that is invested into Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander, perhaps health and housing and stuff, because we need it. I mean, after all these years of genocide, assimilation, colonisation, like we are at a disadvantage in our health. We do have a shorter life expectancy, of course. We're going to need more money in terms of like providing hospitals and care in remote communities. That just makes sense.
It's not a handout, it's not even a hand up, it doesn't go close to fixing the issues that we have today across health, across education, incarceration rates. They're still too high, there's still too many issues that aren't resolved. The money's not the answer to the problems, but there are certainly people and communities that need that sort of support.
Pretty sure that all Australians can receive benefits from the government, not just Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders.
Why can't you guys just get over it? Well, we can't get over it because it's still happening across Australia. I still see the effects that it has towards my family, my mother, my aunts, my uncles, especially my little cousins. We can't get over it because, yeah, it's still occurring and affecting them.
Well, I'm not sure what it is we have to get over, but we still have to recognise and understand how this land was first invaded. And when the country can move forward with that and understand what reconciliation actually means, then that'll become important. But Aboriginal people are going to be here forever, and so is culture.
I think people aren't really well educated on the topic of what they're asking us to get over. A lot of them think that it happened over 200 years ago, but it's not true. That's actually when it started. It started over 200 years ago.
Basically an understanding of our cultures, where we've come from, like understanding where we've come from and what's affected our lives to the time where we are now, and how government policies or how our lives have been, dismantled. And I'm only speaking on what's affected me, and then there's my forefathers who were also affected by different things. So there's a lot of history there to get over.
What can people ask you? I think people can ask me what my mob is. I love talking about my culture. I love talking about my family, my community. But I think, try to avoid those how much benefits do you get or anything like that sort, because it's just not gonna move the conversation forward, and you're not gonna learn about me and my culture if you don't ask the right questions.
You could ask me, what is your ancestry, or what is your bloodline, or who is your mob?
Yeah, what is your heritage? Do you identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander? Like, inquire politely, don't assume. Definitely not.
Don't say, oh, you look Indian, where are you from?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
I get Greek a lot. Yeah, no, ask, where is your family from? Where were you born, perhaps? It's kind of simple.
And if we're Australian, you could ask, what country were you born on? That should be a new question people ask each other.
Yeah.
They should all know who were the traditional owners of the land they were born on.
Like, I love talking about my culture. I love talking about home. So telling people about that and just giving them a little bit of information so that they can go home and do some research and stuff like that.
And also, why does our heritage matter? Like, why is that the first thing someone has to ask?
Yeah. I don't ask a non-Indigenous person, where in Europe are you from?
Yeah.
This does not matter to me.
Do your own research, it's your responsibility. It's very taxing having to tell people about your culture, what happened. It's very draining emotionally, so people have to take their own responsibility and educate themselves. It's not my job.
We all have different lived experiences. Mine's different to Mary's. Mine's probably different to my brother and sister. They're a bit darker skinned than me. So we all have our own lived experience. We all need to lean into the conversation. This is what we want to have. This is part of reconciliation, is both sides coming together and having that conversation. Sometimes that's a little challenging for everyone. Just lean into it.
Yeah. That's it. That's a question.
That's a wrap.